And good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl, and happy National Championship Day.
I see you got your hat.
Finally, it only took 5 weeks to get here.
Well, let's hope that you're not a bad luck charm, that all of a sudden you're changing the Zen in the universe by throwing on a hat that you haven't had for the first couple of rounds of this. Okay.
I wore it during the Broncos game.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
because of that, I am feeling confident enough that this hat, thousands of miles away, will not jinx the team, my team, that is playing in Miami tonight. How was your weekend?
My weekend was hectic. It was busy. I was on the go pretty much all weekend long.
Yeah.
And but it was great. I mean, it was good to be at a playoff game, to feel the energy at a playoff game, and a home playoff game, which was really exciting.
Yeah.
And it was a remarkable roller coaster of being at a high and then minutes later being at a low, and then trying to, sort out your feelings about what you were going to be dealing with moving forward. So very interesting on so many levels.
By the way, breaking this morning, Sean McDermott was fired.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm not that overly surprised. You can put a lot of blame with the Bills GM and roster construction and things like that.
Yeah.
But when you are handed a generational type of quarterback and you can't make it to the Super Bowl, eventually it's time to try something new. Don't you think?
I think so. That was one of my thoughts leaving the stadium when we were just taking kind of account of all of the things that that we were dealing with, and that was one of the things that was brought up. And surely McDermott's done.
Yep.
And and the guy's had a great run, man. You can't deny it. His run has been great, but he's reached the point now where getting to divisional playoffs, the round for 6 straight years, while others would be thrilled with it, you got to have more, especially with a guy like Josh Allen, who is just he's a football player, just a spectacular football player that
had a really, really, really bad game.
Who had a bad game and made a couple of really bad decisions.
Yeah. I want to tell you about the Sportsbook Bar and Grill. I was just there yesterday watching both of those games with some buddies. Great food. Place was packed. Wherever you sit there at any of the locations, whether it's the DTC, Highlands Ranch, or Parker, you always have a great view of the game. And they're more than just football. They do rugby, soccer. Of course, you can watch the Nuggets and Avs there. And then on Sunday, I believe there's going to be a pretty big game at 1 o'clock. So I'm sure all 3 locations will be packed. Sportsbook Bar and Grill, you can find them in the DTC, Highlands Ranch, or Parker. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Okay, it's going to be the Broncos against the Patriots for the 3rd time in the AFC Championship game in Denver over the last 13 years.
Yeah.
This one, though, no Bo Nix, who's out for the season, as you know, with a broken ankle. Odds are out. Broncos' largest home underdog at roughly 4.5 points, depending on who you're betting with. That is the largest home dog in a championship game since the 1970 merger. We will talk far more about this matchup later on in the week because there's so many other things that I think we do need to get into, Bruce. So the win over the Bills, and then the news about Nix that you experienced firsthand sitting in Sean's press conference, and then he comes right back to make the announcement about Nix. Does it kind of feel like you had the winning lottery ticket and you're so excited, so you take your ticket back to the convenience store where you bought it, and you hand it to the person behind the counter, and all they have to do is take that ticket, put it into that computer processor to say, you are the grand prize winner, only to find out and watch at the same time that instead of taking that ticket and putting it into the computer to say that you won, the clerk accidentally puts it in a paper shredder.
Well, that was quite a scenario. Yeah, I would. I think I most felt like, the first time that you ever got punched in the gut and you lost your wind and you just couldn't collect your wind back, and you had to try to calm down enough to get your wind back in you.
Yep.
And you have that panic in the meantime because, oh my God, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of that, but I'm going to tell you, I know I'm different. I don't throw that out there as a necessarily good thing, but I got over it pretty quickly. And here's why I got over it, because you got to get over it. I mean, he's got a broken bone and he's going to have surgery and he's not going to be there. And you've got 1 week to get yourself ready with a quarterback who has basically taken a kneel down for -1 yard this year to play. And all of the challenges that come with it are self-evident, but you got to move on, and you got to move on quickly. I think Sean Payton has done a really good job of that. It's hard to do that because you feel so badly for Bo Nix. At least I did. It was
for Nix, Sean Payton, the Penners, the players, and all of Broncos country.
Exactly.
Again, you almost feel like, okay, it's finally Christmas, and you go downstairs only to find out that Santa has the stomach flu and he couldn't make it to your house.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I processed through this yesterday to the point where on some show that I was doing, where I came out and said, the first thing I did was to make sure that the sun came up this morning and that the sky is still there. Then I checked my schedule to make sure the Broncos are still hosting the AFC Championship game Sunday against the New England Patriots. And I got all of that affirmed. And so that's the opportunity. Now, look, it's now a much longer, windier road that is fraught with peril. But you got to think that there's still a path, and it's much more unlikely now. There is no question about that. The futures line shifted 5 points.
Yeah.
The futures line would have been the Broncos by 1 at home, at least in the sites that I was looking at. And with the news that Nix went down, it immediately shifted 5 points.
Yeah.
So that's the value that Vegas sees in this player. And so it is what it is. There's no fooling. I mean, we all know what the challenge is. Now the question is, can you get enough out of everything else to back up a guy like Jarrett Stidham, who essentially hasn't played any meaning football over the last 2 seasons?
I think what's really disheartening is for Broncos country and Sean Payton, who said at the beginning of the season, this is one of maybe 6 teams I have coached that I really feel has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. With this news about Nix, I don't know if Broncos country will ever get over this for this reason. It falls into the narrative, man, what could have been.
Yeah.
And I don't think that could ever be erased, ever. Because at least when the Broncos played Jacksonville, before they won back-to-back Super Bowls, they lost that on their own merits.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the case if they would have won that game, what could have been. I get that. But everybody played in that game. In this case, it's like trying to win the Indianapolis 500 with a blown tire.
Yeah, it makes it a much more daunting task. There is no question. And the levels now that people, or that units, for instance, have to perform in, and some of the things that you hope you get from game to game, you are going to absolutely have to get. You're going to have to get turnovers at a high rate, setting you up in good field position, short fields where you don't have to go far to score, big plays on special teams, things of that nature. And Jarrett Stidham, Eric, there's a lot of things that we will hear Sean talk about this week. The one thing for me in all of this is, how in the hell do you get a guy back to game speed when he hasn't played essentially for 3 years. And that has nothing to do with his knowledge of the offense.
Right.
We get that. His knowledge of the offense, unquestioned. The love that he has in that locker room, the respect that he has in that locker room, I think the trust that he has in that locker room. Well, maybe the trust part is we'll have to see how that goes. But all of those other things are unquestioned. But how do you deal with game speed when you haven't been in a game since you played an exhibition, or you kneeled down against the Dallas Cowboys? Other than that, and you had a great exhibition season. I mean, you did. But we all know the difference between playoff football and exhibition football. That's not a rub on Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham puts you probably in a better position than most second-string quarterbacks to go out and do something in this situation. But the things that are stacked against him and stacked even against Sean Payton in this is it's tough.
I really don't think the players are going to have any problems bouncing back from this.
No.
I think they will be tunnel visioned if it wasn't yesterday, starting today.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Stidham is loved in that locker room. And let's not underestimate that at all. I think everybody would always rally around whoever the next quarterback would be. But Stidham is a different type of cat. That quarterback room is really, really tight. Those three guys really support each other. Stidham is a veteran. He is now in year 3 in Sean Payton's system, even though he hasn't played that much. Do I feel to your point, there isn't a guy I can think of in this situation I'd rather be starting than Jarrett Stidham. Now, granted, you only have 2 options. I understand that. I'm
right.
Seeing people on social media say, hey, does Phillip Rivers have any eligibility left? No, Stidham is the guy that I would want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But they're going to have to play a nearly flawless game. This is going to have to be picture perfect for them to win, because they are going to have some of the same problems they have had all year, even with Nix.
Yeah.
I mean, is J.K. Dobbins going to come back? I don't know. Maybe. I think he's eligible to come back. But here's the deal. We talked about going into the Bills game. The Broncos need to run it. Bo Nix did. And then the other 2 guys, not their fault, Harvey and McLaughlin, 10 carries, 41 yards?
Yeah.
And Stidham no one's going to accuse Jarrett Stidham as being fleet of foot. Here's one way to put it. The play that we saw in the Bears game last night, at the end of regulation, with Caleb Williams, dialing it back 20 yards and shucking it up. You might see that from Nix. I can promise you would not see that from Stidham. No. They're far more limited in what they can do offensively with Stidham, no matter how great his processor might be.
Yeah, without question. You've touched upon a lot of things, all of them right on target. No doubt about it. This is where you hope you get things like house money comes into play.
And that's, it's funny you should say that, Bruce, because I said before you joined the show, I said that to Alex. I said, I kind of feel like they're playing with house money. They're not gonna use it as an excuse as to why they lost, but very few, honestly, outside of the guys in that locker room and people in the organization and maybe a few other major fanatics, honestly believe they're going to win this game.
Yeah. And the only guys that need to believe it are the guys in the room. The rest of us are totally immaterial. The guys in the room, the guys in the arena are the guys that have to believe it. But just from a standpoint of where the pressure, and I'm grabbing at things now, right? Because we're in a situation that none of us expected. And the clock is ticking. I mean, we're 5 days away now, 5 days, 6 days away from kickoff here, and they haven't even practiced yet. So, I mean, that happens starting on Wednesday. So there's going to be a lot of force feeding, obviously, but you look for things like that. And those are the kinds of things that, who's the pressure on? Well, the pressure's on the Patriots, the huge favorites. This has landed in their lap, unfortunately. And Drake May I listened to Drake May yesterday, and he was like, you could tell he was as heartbroken as a guy could be for Drew or for Bo Nix. I mean, he understood, what all this means, for Bo Nix and for the Broncos and this, that, and the other thing. And more power to him. I thought it was a very honest expression of his sentiment. But, hopefully that allows them to play even freer. And like I said, I'm grasping at straws here, but at this point, I'm looking for anything that can give the Broncos, a foot up in this thing, pun intended.
Coming up after the break, we're going to dig into Stidham's situation historically, where you can make the case, it's possible, where a backup getting his first start of the season has the opportunity to win the biggest game of his life. And all Sean Payton has to do is call his very good friend Bill Parcells for advice. That's next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of snowmobiles or nearly $18,000 in cash the weekend of February 20th. It's your choice what you want, the 2 snowmobiles or the cash. Earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming points on your player card. You can also earn a chance to win during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
As we are roughly 10 hours away from Indiana taking on Miami for the national championship, I think it is fair to say that this Indiana Hoosier football team has put together the greatest script, the greatest story in college football history. But I am wondering if Jarrett Stidham leads the Broncos to a Super Bowl title and then throw in what you and I talked about last week, which is giving up 3 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks to get Wilson and Payton, and then eating $85 million in dead cap, and then finding a way to get the number 1 seed, and then Knicks going out on Saturday with Stidham coming in, and then beating the Patriots potentially, and beating whether it's the Rams or the Seahawks, could you make the case it's the greatest comeback story in the history of the NFL, and maybe even better than what Indiana can accomplish tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly be as good or better of story of reclamation than any that I can think of in the NFL. I think Roger Staubach is the only other guy in the early 70s, 1972, that has made his debut, his first start of a season, in an AFC Championship game. So, I mean, it just doesn't ever happen. You don't ever see this where a guy that is totally unused now has a chance to win the biggest game of his career and one of the biggest games in franchise history. I mean, and this is a franchise that has won Super Bowls. Yeah, let's see how the script gets written, but it certainly has a chance to be one of those just unbelievable moments that sports tends to be able to deliver to us at the oddest times, at the times that we don't think it's really possible, that we really don't even give it that much thought. And then all of a sudden, boom, it happens. So I'm not calling that shot, but I'm saying if it were to happen, we'd start to have those discussions pretty quickly. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, you go back in history, and we'll get to Jeff Hostetler in a second.
Sure.
Tom Brady came in his rookie season and replaced Drew Bledsoe, won a Super Bowl as a rookie. Kurt Warner replaced Trent Green to start the season as a guy who had never played in the NFL and won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles, a rookie, replaced, in theory, he did replace Carson Wentz as a rookie to win a Super Bowl. Whose job was more difficult? Rookies winning a Super Bowl in their, in theory, rookie season. I'm including Kurt Warner in that. He was a much older guy. Or Stidham, a veteran, making his first start in the playoffs. Which was a more difficult road, or is a more difficult road? And Brady and Warner and Foles all played in the regular season leading up to the playoffs. Or is it the guy who has experience, not a ton of him, has been in the system, and goes on to win a Super Bowl?
I think this is, for me, the toughest one, only because he literally has had a kneel down.
Yeah.
There is no question that everything that we have talked about to this point about Jarrett Stidham, as complimentary as it has been, is true. I mean, the trust, the respect that he has in the locker room, all of those things can be true. But the practical experience of playing the game that you play, the reps that you have had or that you haven't had, become, to me, the biggest part of this story. We see Stiddy at practice, and he goes through his throws and he goes through his things. There is not going to be a question about his familiarity with the offense. He's going to know what to do. That's not an issue here. The issue is, can he execute at a high enough level for this offense to be successful in an AFC Championship game when he has not played at game speed, when he is not – look, is it going to be muscle memory? How do you coach this guy this week? Is it the muscle memory of having played at high rates of speed and things? I mean, these are the things that Sean Payton is going to have to try to approximate in practice. How do you do that? How do you create the speed of a game that is going to be played like this? And I don't care if you're an NFL player or not. He hasn't played in the NFL for the better part of 2 years. That's a fact. It's nothing again. The guy's making money being a backup quarterback in the National Football League. This is his job. The challenge of him being able to do his job well is the thing that we're talking about here. It's not about his ability. You put Jarrett Stidham in at the beginning of the season and allow him to grow into the offense and be a leader in all of these things. I'm not saying they win 14 games, but they win a fair share of games, right? I mean, yes, but this is a totally different situation.
Does this almost feel like the NCAA tournament where you have a number 1 seed in Seattle, a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament with the Patriots, a number 2 or a 3 seed with the Rams, and the Broncos are a 9 seed trying to win the NCAA tournament just because of the quarterback position? Are they the Cinderella of these championship games? Or is that an unfair assessment? Are we taking too much away from the defense and all of the other players, knowing how important the quarterback position is?
Not in the moment. Not in the moment. We all understand, and it is understood pretty universally, that there is no other position in sports that carries the weight of a National Football League quarterback because of all of the things that they have to do, from processing to in-play to recognition to all, and then the execution of it all in the snap of a finger. That doesn't mean that he can't do it. Mm-hmm. He's proven. I mean, we'll get back to the phrase that I will continue to utter till I'm dying. Demonstrated ability gives you confidence. Hey, the dude's got some demonstrated ability. That's not what we're saying. Can he demonstrate that ability in this situation, the most unlikely of scenarios for him to be thrown into without any kind of warning whatsoever? And I know that the NFL is a next man up league. Mm-hmm. This is a different kind of thing. It's different to have a next man up at defensive tackle or at outside linebacker or at free safety or wide receiver. This is the quarterback position. It's a totally different kind of challenge for a team. And hell no, Eric, I'm counting on the defense to pick up the slack. I'm counting on special teams to be special. Those are things that are absolutely no-brainers. You have to have, you have to have game-changing plays made by those units to have a shot in this game, just because of the challenges that that Stiddy is going to face. I mean, I'll ask you, you know this as well as I do. How long does it take Stiddy to get to game speed this weekend, to get to a place where he can he get to a place where he's comfortable with the speed of the game? Just that alone.
Right.
Okay.
It could take a couple quarters.
It could.
And you know what? If it's only a couple quarters, that's huge, meaning in a good way. If it only takes you a couple quarters to get used to game speed, at least you have the second half.
Exactly.
He's going to have so much rust on him, despite the fact he has a very good processor and, he understands the offense.
Totally. Like I said,
there's no margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be firing from the jump for the Broncos to truly have a chance in this game. I know you're not a big social media guy. I'm not sure if you saw this on social media, but Nick Foles put something out.
That.
And that was so freaking
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
What he wrote was, I know it's been an emotional 24 hours. I feel for Bo Nix and the team, and I'm sending prayers for a strong recovery. A positive note going into the game against the Patriots is that they struggle against backup quarterbacks in championship-type games.
Unreal.
What Foles is clearly referring to is when he replaced Carson Wentz, took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and beat the mighty Tom Brady-led New England Patriots. I just thought, wow, That's awesome.
Yeah. You talk about a guy who gets it in the moment and understands that he has a very unique kind of story that is relatable on some level, and then has the coolness and the time of day to relate it. I think Nick Foles became kind of just became a really cool surprise out of all of this on Saturday night. It was absolutely fantastic, and I tip my hat to him. It was really cool.
What Stidham is about to embark on already has a very small fraternity. Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, Nick Foles, and Jeff Hostetler. Jeff Hostetler is probably the best comp, best apples to apples with what Stidham is going to be facing on Sunday. Hostetler was in his 5th year, veteran guy, had started 2 games during his career before he took over for Phil Simms, who got injured in the Giants' 15th game. And if Sean Payton wants to talk to somebody about it, I'm sure he can talk to Jeff Hostetler. But considering his relationship with Bill Parcells, I'm sure Bill Parcells is going to give Sean Payton, still his pupil, make no mistake about it.
Without question.
For as much as Sean is the big personality in the room, or at least wants to be, he acquiesces to Bill Parcells, who will always be the guy holding court when Sean is in the room. When Sean's in the room, he likes to hold court.
Sure.
But he always defers to Bill Parcells.
Yeah, no question. And by the way, that's a pretty good guy to defer to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when he talks, people listen. At this point, when the disappointment rolls off and you're able to hum a couple of bars from Annie and the sun comes up tomorrow, what you do is you start to see the challenge for what it is, and you only have one way to go, and that is to embrace the challenge. You're going to play this football game. You're going to have a chance to win this football game and to go to the Super Bowl. We'll get to that if we're fortunate enough to get to Santa Clara. But for right now, here in the moment, the opportunity hasn't changed. The opportunity is the exact same opportunity before you had the knowledge on Bo Nix. Now, the players have changed. The challenge of it has changed. But the outcome and the potential for what can happen in the outcome hasn't changed. And this is where, to me, you're glad you've got a guy like Sean Payton, who I think is a damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead guy. And yeah, he's practical about things. He understands what the challenge is. But I think to a large degree, this will invigorate him even more. Right. And then you hope it has the same effect in that locker room. And like I said, I know I'm grasping at things here, but why can't it be that way? Well, you know what? We've shocked the world all damn season long. This would be the next level of shocking the world. Why not us?
I mean, far be it from me to tell Jarrett Stidham what he's about to face. And, Sean has said he's very good talking about Stidham, mental reps during practice, doesn't get a lot of snaps. Clearly he will get all of them, this week. But it is, we both know the saying, drinking out of a fire hose.
Yes, we do.
This is drinking out of a geyser. And then throwing in the nerves he is going to be facing.
Sure.
Just like every player playing for the right to go to the Super Bowl. So that is just compounded by the pressure of trying to even get ready for this game, because every player is going to have their nerves. It's just, I can't even imagine how much he is going to have to not only digest and then execute where he has butterflies that are jacked up on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ability to get over that and get to a place where your heart is beating slower, which, by the way, is the part of the magic of Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Bo Nix has the slow heartbeat, man. He has the slow heartbeat in those moments. We haven't even touched upon how brilliant he was down the stretch of this game.
I want you to think about something that we talked about last week. I said to you, okay, here's a scenario. One of the teams, the Broncos or the Bills, are down by 6. It's the 2-minute warning. The ball's at the 30. No timeouts. Who do you want to be your quarterback? Bo Nix or Josh Allen? And you and I both agreed without skipping a beat, I'd rather have Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And we saw why.
And we did see why. And so as we go through the week, being able to look back maybe on Bo Nix and where he ends up this season and the credibility that he has gained. Not that it was important to him, because that guy's always just trying to win a dang football game. That's his deal. All of the noise outside of it is fine for the conversation, and that's great too, because that's part of the deal, and Bo understands that. But now we have such an overriding story about Jarrett Stidham, the closeness between the two and between the three. You throw Sam Ehlinger in there, that room, and then Zach Wilson a year ago. That room has been as tight as any room I would imagine in the NFL in terms of their togetherness, their support. Well, the support that Jarrett Stidham is going to need this week is going to be otherworldly. And most of it for me is trying to get him to a place where he can breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. And this is a guy that plays in the NFL. He's played in high leverage minutes. I get it. But just getting him to that point where, which, by the way, is exactly what I saw him when he was getting the news. You could see him, the players were still milling around. Guys were coming up. They were slapping him on the back, giving him, saying, hey, it's us now. It's you, and this is where we're going. And you could see the moment and the recognition of it, washing over him. It's an amazing time. Let's see if we can get some amazing results.
While we know who the Broncos' opponent will be, I want to take a step back. Who do you think, and let's be brief with this because we have all week to chat about this. Who do you think would have been a better opponent for the Broncos under these circumstances? The Texans or the Patriots?
Well, you asked this question of me last week. I said the Texans, and I mean the Texans, for the very reason
would have been the better opponent.
Yeah, I thought so.
Me too. And I don't understand. Listen, and my reason was really simple. The Texans do not have much of an offense. I don't even know if the Texans want to bring back C.J. Stroud anymore.
Yeah, and C.J. Stroud has been patently awful in these playoffs.
With that, we know how great the Texans' defense is. But my whole thought process was this. Both the Broncos and Texans have great defenses. The Texans' offense is awful. And if the Broncos' offense is not very good with Stidham, then it's a wash. Okay. Then the game could be 9-3.
Yeah.
I have been a lot higher on the Patriots than just about anybody that I know. Just from a defensive standpoint for the Broncos, they are facing two running backs who are capable, more than capable, of running for 60 yards each and catching at least 30 to 40 yards worth of passes.
Yeah.
Then they have a really good tight end, and their wide receiver core is more than fine. And then defensively, they swarm as well as anybody.
Yeah.
This is going to be a Herculean effort, in my opinion, even with Bo Nix.
Yeah, because they're playing the most complete team that they could possibly face with very few inadequacies in any of the three phases. And on top of it, Drake May has become a extremely confident, capable quarterback that really can execute at a high level. So, and they're extremely well coached. And yeah, this is a challenge. You're coming on the road into a very difficult place to play, period. But there's a reason that the Patriots are the team that I wanted to stay away from, and it's because of their completeness and their balance.
And here's something else. I put this out on social media, when the news happened. How cool would it be for Jarrett Stidham to face the Patriots, knowing he was drafted by the Patriots and then traded by the Patriots? And while that's a nice story, Josh McDaniels will be spending, I believe, as much time with Mike Vrabel and that defense than he will on his own offense. Because I don't think there are too many guys in the NFL who know Jarrett Stidham better than Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, who took him to Las Vegas with him. Let's not forget. And
he knows where all the warts are.
Yeah.
He knows where all the scars are. And on Jarrett Stidham, when he takes his shirt off, he can tell you where what he does well, what he doesn't do well. And that's a major disadvantage too.
It is. But the funny thing about that is he thought enough of him to take him with him to Vegas.
Right?
Yeah. Right. The other side of that equation is he still liked him enough to say, you know what? Come on, let's go. So, but yeah, the challenge is self-evident. And it is a daunting one. But I'm hoping for a guy like Sean Payton who loves, he says he talks about his middle finger, right? He's got two of them.
Yeah.
I think that Sean Payton would love to just kind of just basically flip everybody off and say, you know what, watch us.
If the Broncos win this game, and if they somehow go to the Super Bowl and win it, Sean Payton should be elected to the Hall of Fame day one.
Yeah.
He should not even have to wait. When his 5 years are up, Sean Payton is automatically in, because this will be an incredible coaching job. The concern for me that is absolutely real is because the Patriots offense is so well balanced, if the Broncos fall behind 14 to nothing,
you're
or something like that,
deep trouble.
With Bo Nix, you're like, okay, we're good.
Great.
We're good because we know what Bo Nix is capable of because of that demonstrated ability.
Yeah.
If the Broncos fall behind in this game, Bo's not coming off the bench. He's not walking out of a phone booth with the cape.
No, he's not.
You can make the case it's pretty much over, because when the Broncos talk about Bo leaving in Bo Nix, it is the fourth quarter coming back in games. Jarrett Stidham does not have that demonstrated ability.
No.
So you really wonder if the players in their heads think, I don't know if we can really do it. With Bo Nix, it's, oh yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
We've got him exactly where we want him.
For me, finishing here, at least on Monday, you just talked about Sean Payton and just, forget the 5-year deal. Just put him to the front of with all of the things that we've talked about today. It starts with the fact that no coach has ever led a team, two different teams in the NFL, to a Super Bowl. Take everything else.
No, Dan Reeves did. No, won it. No coach has ever won a Super Bowl with two different teams.
Yeah, with two different teams. I'm sorry. Yeah. There are quite a few coaches that have taken
Andy Reid did too.
Teams. Yeah.
But winning, it's different.
Winning, it's different. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. If he were to go and do that, he would become the first coach, period, to win 2 Super Bowls with different teams. That doesn't even start to take into account everything that he will be dealing with this week. I hope that they get the chance to do it. I am going to go on record this Monday before a Sunday kickoff that I can see a path, but I got to squint. I got to squint really hard, man.
If you were Sean Payton today, clearly you want Bo Nix, I get it, to be your quarterback. You have a better chance to make it to a Super Bowl and win one. But if you're Sean Payton, Are you almost embracing the idea that what you are embarking on could lead to something that is talked about for decades? You lose your starting, the opportunity for Sean Payton is there too.
Oh, well,
where he becomes
that's what,
legendary.
Yeah, no question.
Taking
about
a
it.
backup quarterback and winning a Super Bowl like this.
Yeah.
That would be unheard of. Even with Hostetler, he had some games to play.
Yeah.
And Foles and Warner and Brady had games to play.
Yeah. No question. It would certainly be, that would be one of the wonderful effects and aftermaths of this, because you're right. I think at this point, I think that we've gotten over the, you feel damn bad for Bo Nix.
Right.
Now you've got to move on. And I thought Sean started doing it quicker than anyone. Just in listening to him yesterday, hey, we got a shot. We got a shot at this. And if people think that we don't have a shot at this, great. That falls right into the narrative that we need. The lift is tougher.
Yeah.
But it can still be made.
I know I'm reaching for silver linings here, but it's great and it could be beneficial that this happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
So now everybody has 24 hours to digest this before they have to hop into game week. If this happened yesterday, you're hopping into game week right away with no chance to process what has actually happened.
Well, today has been a day of looking hard, squinting for silver linings.
Yep.
And I think we've done a pretty good job covering it. Now we'll, as we head through the week, try to figure out ways in which it could actually happen.
Well, let me give you the ultimate silver lining. The Patriots, just like the Broncos, have no game film on Stidham.
Right. Hey,
can't study it. You got to study. You got to study what he did 2 years ago when he was Stiddy, filling in for Russell Wilson. There is no tape on him. And maybe, just maybe, over the last 2 years, Stidham has improved dramatically. Mm-hmm. It's just nobody knows about it yet.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
There's nothing to see. And what they will do is they will go to the preseason games.
Yeah, where he was fantastic, by the way. He was really good in the preseason, but
he was fantastic in the preseason playing a vanilla offense.
Of course.
I'm reaching here.
Both of us are.
I'm reaching here.
I just got to find out how much I can end up grabbing. Right now, I'm coming up with air.
With that, allow me to be self-indulgent.
Go
Hoosiers!
Good luck,
Let's get it done tonight, baby.